this episode of INN CEO Talks, we're talking about graphite, a bit about the market and how graphite is a core element in the green energy transition with Southstar Battery Metals CEO Richard Pearce. Richard, welcome.
Stuart, great to see you. Thanks for taking the time and really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
You know, I touched on the fact that we'll talk a little bit about how important graphite is, but I think that what is most important for viewers right now is you've got some pretty exciting news that you've just released about where you are with your Santa Cruz project.
Yeah, just trying to put one foot in front of the other and keep things moving forward. So, on the construction front, we'll be the first new graphite producer in the Americas since 1996. So all the equipment is basically on site except for our mills. And we're looking to basically get those shipped the middle of February. And then we'll have basically 60 days to do the electrical and mechanical and hydraulic assemblies around that. So again, we are looking to basically be commissioning at the end of April, substantially complete with construction and starting commissioning. We've got about a 45-day commissioning schedule. As a positive note, we just had our environmental permits and licenses for phases 2 and 3. So phase 1 is 5,000 ton per annum of concentrate production. Our nameplate production is actually 13,000. So as soon as we get our mining permit, we'll be able to step up to 13,000 tons. Phase 2 then is an expansion to 25,000 tons, and phase 3 is a total of 50,000 tons. Everything is modular. So as we expand, we basically just copy paste 25,000 ton per annum modules. So we basically are still looking to produce 5,000 tons of concentrate in 2024 and sell those to clients. And how we've kind of sequenced it out is that initially we'll be producing about 420 tons a month, which is the equivalent of 5,000 tons. As soon as we get our mining concessions finalized and approved for phases 2 and 3, then we can increase to our nameplate capacity, which would be about 1,000 tons a month. And so with that step up in production, we're able to still produce 5,000 tons, which was our plan all along. And then for 2025, we would be producing basically 13,000 tons. And based on current cost, current pricing, that should generate about $500,000 US a month in free cash flow that goes into a lot of our studies and things like that we're looking to do. So excited about really where we've come and what 2024 holds for us. But again, delivering the first new graphite production in the Americas since 1996 at a time when really there's a lot of pressure for production, and lots of jurisdictions and companies are looking to diversify their supply chains. Onshoring and nearshoring is a real thing that's happening in the market, and maybe it's not a full second industrial revolution in the West, but there's a lot of money, time, and effort being spent on onshoring, particularly around critical metals and processing. Onshoring those capabilities to the U.S. as well as Canada, Europe, et cetera. So again, exciting times, and we look forward to making that transition from a development company into a producing company, and all the good things that come along with that.
So you're still in that pre-revenue stage. How are you staged for available cash right at the moment to be able to see yourself from here through to production?
Yeah, so at our last reported financial statements, we had 11 million Canadian basically sitting in the bank. We're on schedule with regards to our budget. We are just finalizing. We announced a $5 million Canadian raise that we then upsized to $7 million. Had lots of interest beyond what we initially were thinking about. So again, we should be closing that here in the next days, and then basically, again, when we close that private placement, very strong participation from a couple new institutions and funds. And again, we should have 11+ million sitting in the bank with production starting, and by Q4 of this year, again, what we're looking to basically be able to do is spit off about $500,000 US a month in cash after we pay everything. So again, strong financial position to be able to expand. So with the approval of those environmental licenses, a lot of those areas have already been, those solicitations have been sent to the Ministry of Mine and Energy. In the next 60 to 90 days, we hope to get all of those approved for phases 2 and 3. So we'll have all our permits in place. We are starting, we're planning about a 4,000 meter drilling campaign. We will look to upsize our resource and reserve base to extend our mine life and incorporate that phase 3. So we'll take our PFS and take that to 50,000 ton per annum production, and then feed that into the strategic plan, which is to upgrade that material in the Southeast Corridor along with our production at Bamistar.
So based on your known reserves and your estimates, what do you estimate is the life of this mining site? In my belief, Santa Cruz is an infinite mine. There's other mines on strike from us that have been operating for 30, 40 years. I've always tried to be very conscious of shareholder money and how it's spent. And having a 50-year mine life really doesn't get you much. So again, we've got a 13-year mine life. Currently, we're looking to, with this next drilling campaign to basically double our reserves, which again would give us, with 50,000 tons, somewhere in that range of 15 to 20-year mine life, ideally. And that, the idea is that we just picked up 7,000 new hectares. So we have an absolutely massive land package of 19,000 hectares total, of which we're scratching, about 3% of that. We're really only planning on about 3% of that land package. And you just can't throw a rock without hitting graphite out there. So lots of upside. And again, I think that's one of the beauties of our portfolio of projects is we've got scalable assets that are very low capital intensity, excellent infrastructure, first quartile of OPEX that, can be scaled as clients ask us to in tier 1 jurisdictions. So again, lots of blue sky ahead of us, but it is I believe it to be probably one of the most prolific graphite districts in the world, at a trend that basically has proven itself to be the lowest OPEX, the most profitable operations, globally. So again, I think it's a very competitive environment. Also tell me, as far as critical minerals are concerned in the United States, what's your relationship there? What status have you been granted?
So again, we've got our second project, which is in Alabama called Bamistar. We were very fortunate and blessed to be awarded Department of Defense Title III, a DPA award for $3.2 million US. So basically the idea there is that we will use half that. We'll use that money to basically pay for half of our feasibility study. So the way we approach this with the DoD was we'll deliver a PEA, which is in process. On the back of that PEA, we submit it to them, and then it's basically a dollar for dollar match on the feasibility study. So we completed our second round of drilling. We just recently got all those results back. We'll basically update, get a new estimate on our resource and reserve base, be incorporating that into a preliminary economic assessment with the estimates of CapEx and OpEx, as well as incorporating a third facility, which would basically be a value add plant producing everything from purified micronized to coated SPG. So again, the objective of the company is to have two mines, each producing 50, 60,000 tons of concentrate, and feeding a good portion of that into a third facility, which is a value add plant somewhere in that Southeast corridor of the United States.
We're going to run out of time here in a moment, but what's the most important message that you would like investors to hear from this interview? What's the takeaway that you want?
I think Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, I think graphite is really misunderstood and mispriced, and graphite companies obviously haven't had similar runs to, lithium and other metals. So you don't have half a battery, right? You don't have a battery with just a cathode. So within the grand scheme of the macro environment, there is a real need for production of critical metals and certainly graphite outside of China. And not all graphite is the same. So I think when you look out across the space, first movers like Southstar will have a huge advantage. And an operational team that has experience in building and operating mines, again, there's just not that many of us out there. So when you look out across the space and all the different projects, again, Southstar was the best performing graphite of the 40 plus companies that we keep in our database in terms of share price in 2023. We're delivering on our milestones. We've got an executive management team that is very experienced mine builders and mine operators. We've proven that we can raise money and build mines and put production in place. And we look to scale those operations quickly with very low capital intensity and very profitable operations. So again, I think we've got an extraordinary portfolio of assets looking to expand production as quickly as the markets ask us to. And ideally, our clients are helping us finance that by borrowing their balance sheet with offtake agreements and moving quickly. So again, we look to be a fully integrated graphite producer in the next few years and be one of the first ex-China that are doing it from graphite con all the way through to coated SPG for lithium-ion batteries.
It's a very interesting time to be looking at Southstar. You've got exciting times ahead of you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate it. Have a great day.